Okay, I'm ready. 3, 2, 1. Go! Oh, wow!
This is the Jump Limitless Flight, the world's first hyper-realistic VR wingsuit simulator, and it's by far the scariest and most exhilarating location-based VR experience I've ever tried. We traveled all the way from London to Salt Lake City, Utah in the US just to try this VR experience, and I can tell you now, it didn't disappoint, and I'm so excited to be able to share my experience with you all. The Jump was created by VR veteran James Jensen, one of the original founders of The Void, another location-based VR experience where you can team up with your friends to take on experiences from Star Wars, Wreck-It Ralph, and even Ghostbusters. Sadly, The Void locations have been closed since COVID, but I really hope they get to open their doors again soon. But back to The Jump in Salt Lake City, it's currently the only location of its kind in the world right now, but they do have plans to expand and open more locations in the future. So the Jump experience starts by signing in and using an iPad to measure your IPD. Now, IPD is essentially the distance between your eyes, and this is measured so the custom VR helmet can be individually calibrated to each user to provide the best experience possible. Inside this awesome-looking custom helmet sits a Valve Index. Now, while the Valve Index is a couple of years old now, it's still one of the best consumer VR headsets available on the market, and with its wide field of view, it's the perfect headset of choice for this insane VR wingsuit experience. Next up was a quick face scan using this funky little booth. This adds your very own face to the VR experience, which I can show you a little bit later on. At this point, I have to admit, I was getting pretty nervous as I'm not actually a big fan of heights, and I would say the nervous and excited feeling was similar to that of waiting in line for a big, intimidating roller coaster. After a short wait, we were provided with a very quick video safety briefing, which explained how to put the wingsuit on and some tips on how to control the wingsuit during the flight. And this is where things started to get very serious, as we were helped into our very own wingsuits, and these things are real-life wingsuits which have been cleverly adapted for this experience. They're super heavy, so they have to be suspended from this crazy-looking rail system. Once we were in our suits, we were handed a clean facial interface for the Valve Index and guided to our jump bays. They have 2 jump bays at this location, so 2 people can jump separately at the same time. The experience is a solo one right now, but they hinted at the fact that a multiplayer jump could be possible in the future. Once inside the jump bay, trackers were placed onto the suit and I was assisted with putting my VR helmet on, and this is where I got to see the VR experience for the very first time. I found myself in the back of this virtual plane. The noise of the plane's engines coming through the headset speakers, combined with the detailed plane interior, just meant that I was completely immersed in this experience. Suddenly, the rear door of the plane opened up and I felt this huge rush of air hit me from this massive fan that's located inside the jump bay. I was then instructed by the jump crew, who could talk to me through the headset speakers, to shuffle my feet to the very edge of the virtual plane. Now, as I did this, I could feel the edge of the real raised platform I was standing on under my feet, and this just made the whole thing feel incredibly realistic and also incredibly scary. But there was just no turning back now. I counted down from 3 and then leapt forward off the platform. Now, it's going to be hard to describe this, but the feeling of physically jumping headfirst off a platform in real life whilst wearing a VR helmet and the visuals inside matching your movements one-to-one, showing you leaping out of the back of a virtual plane, was just one of the most exhilarating things I've ever experienced in VR. In mid-air during the jump, the wingsuit fully inflated with air, making it completely rigid. Now, during a real wingsuit jump, there's actually ducts in the suit that channel air into the suit to inflate it, but this is all done by an air line connected to the back of the suit to simulate the same feeling. After getting over the initial shock of the jump and knowing I was safe, I was suspended in the air by this intricate pulley system. I began to tilt my body from side to side to glide through these gates in the sky, which kind of reminded me of the old school Super Nintendo game Pilot Wings. The feeling of flying was just totally awesome. I felt completely free, like a bird just soaring through the sky. After a short time, I felt a sudden jolt as my virtual parachute opened up, and I could actually reach out and grab these real-life parachute handles to control my descent. I then felt my feet touch the real ground as I came into land, and I found myself on the edge of a mountain, about to do it all over again. As the jump crew advised me to shuffle my feet to the edge, this time as I looked down, I could see the rock ledge crumbling away beneath my feet. Despite this being my second jump, it wasn't any easier convincing my brain that this just wasn't real. This time, I was told by the jump crew that I could control the pitch of the suit by looking down to speed up or by looking up to level out. So again, I leapt forward into the air off the platform and immediately looked down to gain momentum. And just before hitting the ground, I looked up to level out the suit and got as close to the rock face as I possibly could. Now, soaring through this valley was just breathtaking, and this detailed environment is actually a real-life photogrammetry scan of a real-life base jumping location in Utah. It's absolutely stunning. By tilting the suit, I was just about able to make it over this rocky ridge, with the peak just a couple of meters below my body. I zoomed through this valley, and then again, I felt the jolt of my parachute opening up, my feet touched the ground, and the experience was over. As I took the helmet off, I could still feel all the adrenaline surging through my body. What an incredible VR experience. Afterwards, you can settle your heart rate and reflect on the experience in this nice little cozy chill out area. You can even watch a highlight reel of your own jump, and this is also where you can see your own face in the helmet on the avatar, which is just hilarious. This is just the beginning for the jump and its creators. I can only imagine how this can be adapted to other VR experiences in the future, like a deep sea diving experience, for example, or just imagine what a Superman experience would be like if you could put your fist on the ground and then jump into the air with the support of the clever pulley system. Something like that would be totally awesome. The creator, James Jensen, also explained that with the latest updates with Unreal Engine 5 and Nanite technology, this experience will be updated to look even more realistic in the future. But even in its current state, the VR experience, the wind, the suit, the pulley system, when it's all combined, it all feels very real. And I can't wait to try more exciting location-based VR experiences like this one in the future. Let me know what you all think in the comments below. Would you like to see more of these crazy experiences on the channel? And also let me know if you would be brave enough to try this out for yourself. Leave a little like if you enjoyed this video, something a little bit different on the channel. Make sure you're subscribed for all my future VR content. And as always, I'll see you all on the next one. Cheers.